when I was doing PhD, someone asked me, define PhD for us. What are you going through? I said it is permanent head damage. Most of the companies try to come to companies like C5I or Analytic Edge. It's about what are others doing better. We will never understand the client's business better than they do.
For sure.
What we do understand better is what other 10 companies are doing as well.
What's the story behind this picture first?
This picture was taken in our very first office, and we were so excited to have a TV. Marketing was seen as a cost of doing business.
Yes.
If I had to stay alive, I would do marketing.
Fair.
I think it has now become a sustainable truth.
You have 1 minute to explain AI in marketing to your grandmother. What do you actually say?
I will do it. It will do it faster, simpler, and you'll understand better.
बेटा सुनाई नहीं दिया. Every marketeer has sat in a meeting room, and yes, someone from that meeting has said and pointed to a number and said that works. Everyone has nodded in agreement because the model said so. But I've wondered if anyone actually questioned if it actually works, or have we spent a very long time of our lives convincing ourselves and measuring a version of reality on calling it the real thing. Today I have with me a gentleman who co-founded a company, Analytic Edge. He built a model from the ground up. He has assisted and helped some of the largest companies on earth, guiding them regarding if their marketing actually works. So I have a very strong feeling that he might be the right person to answer that very question. How are you doing, Santosh?
Thank you so much. Very nice. Glad to be here.
Wonderful to have you with us. And the fact that we are, of course, going to get you warmed up with some interesting little nostalgia first.
Sure thing.
And we're going to pop up some pictures on the screen as we're going to speak. And I would love for you to probably share what you think about them when you sit back today and talk about them. So if you're ready, can we go with the first one?
Sure.
All right. Here we go. Well, that is the logo for C5I. I'd like to ask you this at the get-go. You've been a co-founder yourself. You've been somebody who has run a company and a model for so long. And then when the C5I acquisition happened, what does that logo actually now resonate with you as?
It's about culture. So I'll answer a different question first and then come to this question. I think the acquisition makes sense when the acquisition succeeds or when the cultures are alike. C5I and Analytic Edge, we dated for a few years before the acquisition happened. And it was the fundamental thought was, we are just moving to a bigger company. It's just the name changing from Analytic Edge to C5I. I think it is the culture which prompted us. So when I see this logo, that's what it says. Oh, I can see Analytic Edge in it.
Nice. Well put.
So that's the feeling or emotion that it comes with.
But honestly, Santosh, it's tough, no? Sometimes to just align yourself with that energy. And I think you've done it so well. And the fact that your team, I'm sure, would have followed suit.
No, I think, is it all wonderful? No. There are some apprehensions when we went through this. But it is the excitement which overtakes. It's the adrenaline rush that
Nice.
Now I am not just marketing analytics, I am the whole of analytics. What I can do in the frontiers of AI. So I think it's the excitement more than the apprehensions which outweigh such things. So do I feel cornered in some solutions? No, I'm excited on what other roads to take, what the other pathways that there are for general personal improvement, and what we can take to the industry. So I'm excited. And this has been 1.5 years now, been very exciting. I still think there is a lot more that can be done together.
I'm so glad.
Which we probably have not achieved, but a lot more. So I'm very excited. Still there.
I'm so glad that the dating period augured well for you and the marriages
Absolutely.
turned out well and it still brings a smile to your face. That's nice to know.
Absolutely. It has been nice, and we have been welcomed very openly. And I will tell you one thing. One thing I don't miss is dealing with finance and operations, HR. God, they CFI has a wonderful team.
That's a good
I
thing.
don't like me. I can concentrate on my methodologies. I can concentrate on my clients. I can concentrate on what next without having to worry about, all the processes.
Oh my God, there is this
Oh,
finance
boy.
question suddenly popping up,
Yeah,
and then
and
there is.
there is an audit question and what to add. So, not good at those things. I'm
I
absolutely
love the
excited.
honesty.
Absolutely. It is wonderful. Somebody else is taking a stand now. But that has been something. I think lighter note. It has been a journey,
A blessing in
wonderful journey
disguise.
for us so far.
Wonderful, beautiful. Are you ready for the second picture, though?
Absolutely.
All right. Well, here is that second picture, which is the campus, I believe, of the university where you have done a PhD, sir, which is the Clemson University. Did you suddenly realize that I started calling you sir? The moment I had to bring a certain sense of gravitas to
Whoa.
that, right?
I'm
Dr.
a life.
Santosh Nair.
I will remain a lifelong tiger. Uh, uh, but PhD. On a lighter note, when I was doing PhD, someone asked me define PhD for us. What are you going through? I said it is permanent head damage. So I
Fair.
think, but I think PhD has not made me a technical guru. I think what it has taught me is how to think about a problem in a structured way.
Any anecdotes you remember from the university days? And also, how long did it take you to complete it? And if you could give us the title of your PhD.
So,
Maybe not in the same order. I'll leave that to you.
so I did my PhD in applied stats. It was on regional economics. So applying statistical principles on regional economics, labor movement.
Interesting.
Something that I still use, the methodology part.
Something very relevant to our country, no?
Absolutely. Do people move from towns to cities or cities to towns? What brings them there? But having said that, I think, the anecdotes, as I was saying before, it taught me a structured way of thinking, more than the technical stuff. And of course, they did put a lot of technical things in my head, which I can find if I need to. But more than technical, I think a structured way of thinking. And patience.
I think
requires a lot of
that
patience.
sums it up. Yeah.
It took me 3 years
Wow.
to finish my PhD. What gracious enough, and thankful enough to have finished.
By the way, was Analytic Edge already up and running at the time
No.
while you were doing this? Okay.
No, I did it in one trot, unlike a lot of PhDs today. So I did my PhD in one trot, going from bachelor's to master's to PhD.
Wow.
The anecdote is I did my bachelor's in genetics,
Okay.
plant genetics, which is agriculture. Did my master's in economics
Okay.
and my PhD in stats.
My
So-
God.
So I figured out that trying to figure out what I'm good at. It took me some time. I'm a little slow. As I said, I had to get to the permanent head damage thing to figure it out. But I think in a space that I love doing what I do, will never call myself a data scientist or an AI scientist. I'm a statistician at heart, but economist by behavior.
I love that. Honestly, I really love that. If you're ready, now the next picture. All right. So this one, I'll need a little bit of assistance myself because I am not a statistician. So you basically, Santosh, at the Analytic Edge recently released data on how TikTok delivers more ROI than television and social, right? Since I'm an expert on reading those charts, no. I would like for you to please shed light in that because it's very fascinating for you to have done that.
So we did. So this study was, came from a meta study that we did a few of the APAC countries. The title is right. But I think what probably it is missing is the thoughtware behind it.
Okay.
Is TikTok working the best?
Right.
And I'll go back to the question that you raised when you started this discussion about, marketers looking at this data and saying, oh, I know that number, that makes sense. Or you make a false belief or pretend that this is right. I think that it has to be read in the context. It has to be read. I think TikTok is doing very well when you look at short-term ROI.
Fair.
I think when you start looking at a brand or a number from a holistic perspective, TV is not meant to be driving your short-term sales. It is meant to drive your awareness or your consideration of a particular brand.
Is it because of the reach also, Santosh?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
TikTok has an amazing reach, by the way, in some other countries, especially in Asia. And of course, not in India, but in Asia in general. I think it has an amazing reach. But the intent of doing an ad in TikTok versus a Meta versus a Google versus your cable TVs,
Sure.
very different. ROI is capturing the short-term intent of consumers. Yes, it is usually the last touch point, and TikToks of the world will show up high. No offense to my friends at Meta and Google. I think they perform pretty well as well if you combine the different methodologies together. So it is
Fair
not
point.
just about short-term ROI like buy today
Mm.
versus I am taking you half the way there and TikTok closed the deal for you. So it is that. So did TikTok close the deal? Yes. Should it get the credit for it? Yes. Should it get all the credit? Probably no.
Well put.
So it's a journey.
Well put. So essentially that means that a lot of people who would want to go ahead and get onto that journey need to have a deeper understanding on how to kind of navigate it.
Absolutely. So I think, there is a meaning behind the meaning, right? So I think that's what, or the context behind the meaning, that's what everyone has to understand. So this triggers actually a lot of emotions because this is not a question that I'm getting first time. Like every time people ask this number, yes, TikTok team is all happy and saying, yes, we did this. But I think it's a teamwork.
It needs to go deeper.
It's everything that, so you have to go a level or two deeper.
And that's where the structured thinking comes in.
Absolutely.
Makes sense.
Explain what.
Makes sense. All right. Here's the final picture. Are you ready for it?
Yep.
I think this one is going to be slightly special. I would beg your pardon because I have to read the names.
Oh.
This is Rahul Budraja, Santosh yourself, of course, and Vijay Ramaswamy founded Analytic Edge in 2012 and established it in 2015.
That's true.
How did they come up with the idea? And honestly, let's start with what's the story behind this picture first.
This picture was taken in our very first office that we leased out, and we were so excited to have a TV in the office.
Nice.
And so if we want to take a picture with a TV in the background, and now our office has
And
a
that's a
TV.
big TV, by the way.
It is.
So congratulations.
We were so excited. And I look very young.
By the way, you still do, Santosh. So
Thank you. Yeah. So this is a lot of nostalgia picture, right? So it was, it has been a journey with Analytic Edge. So I think what this picture shows is what we started out with, what changes we made. There were serious highs and there were some serious lows. At some time you're thinking, should we even be doing this? And then the highs and saying, why aren't we doing more? I need more of that dopamine that this gives me. So it has been a journey. Very glad that we took it. When we started, it was a risk, but supported nicely by our wives.
nice.
All three of our wives are working, and hence we can do what we did.
Wonderful.
So it has been a journey. So the intent when said, we will go to this MMM industry or marketing analytics industry, we know what to do. We know what consumers want, what clients want, and started out that way and said, oops.
Wait a minute.
Wait, take a step back, change. So many course corrections. We did some things right, some things wrong. We fixed. I think standing now and seeing this picture, it's a
Beautiful.
feeling of it has been worth it. It has been worth it, not only from a financial standpoint, I think from an emotional standpoint and from a standpoint that I achieved something.
I'm so happy. I'm so happy that you've been
that's how
able
that
to
picture
embrace
feels.
that emotion.
Yeah,
Yes.
so I think you achieved
Sounds
something.
like
There is
quite a journey.
contentment.
Beautiful.
Are we fully content? No, but I think there is a sense saying that, did right.
Lovely. Lovely to hear that. I'll, of course, now take you further as far as that journey is concerned. I'd like you to live those moments a little more. Santosh, you founded Analytic Edge. You started on a model called Q. You started on it ground up. And then sometime down the road, C5I, the acquisition has taken place. All that has happened. So I want to start with that journey bit. We talked about that journey. What has that journey taught you specifically from all of those nuances that you've gone through that the other aspects of life could not have?
Complicated question, right? So when we started out, the Thoughtware was we want to create a product around marketing analytics. Marketing analytics was done. It was delivered to clients through PowerPoint decks. And so, you read it, everyone reads it for 2 weeks, and then the nearest dustbin has that PowerPoint if you have taken a printout of it. Or you couldn't find, 1 year later and say, we did this study. And everybody's trying to search their emails and,
Yeah.
search engines saying that, can you find this study that we have done? The intent was, how do we make it breathing
Right.
and living?
Palpable. Yeah.
So that was a journey that when we started, we were trying to undertake various downturns. I think a couple of years down, we thought that we should now focus, instead of sales and marketing analytics, focus only on marketing analytics.
Okay.
We didn't want to be a general analytics company. We want to be very niche, very focused marketing analytics company. Because, at that time, we didn't want to go, and call ourselves general analytics. All three of us, Rahul, Vijay, and myself, had a background of marketing analytics in our careers. So we wanted to focus on that, what we know, what we can do better.
That's a good decision. I mean, yeah, it's
Absolutely.
common ground.
I think in that journey, after some time, just because you're doing only one piece of system, the clients are asking you 10 other questions,
Sure.
which is not fundamentally marketing analytics. And the question becomes, how do we evolve and give more to your clients and answer those questions as well? Be it a supply chain question, be it a RGM or a pricing question. How do we evolve from there? And during that Thoughtware is when we started dating with C5I, and I think it made sense.
Sure.
We bring a product to C5I because also marketing analytics leaders, and we come in, and C5I provides us, now opens us the door for our clients to go to all the other analytic solutions which Analytic Edge couldn't answer before. Now we can. So I can give my clients the whole suite and not losing the leaders in marketing analytics edge, if you might. And I'm calling it edge
No,
because
fair.
the analytic edge is stuck
Yeah,
on my
fair.
head forever.
Which it should be.
Right? So
It's
I
your
think-
baby by the end of the day.
Absolutely. So I think now how we think is that it's just not one suit. I can give my clients everything else. So and we have always called ourselves friends and families company.
Nice.
So all our senior stakeholders in Analytic Edge, all we know. We work with them. I knew somebody who knows them. So it's a friends and family company. And I think we are Analytic Edge 200. And the reason that we dated with C5I for so long before pulling the trigger, both sides, is to figure out that are we the friends and family
So
culture.
if the synergy is there.
Absolutely. Yes, I think perfect amalgamation of two companies. Glad for the journey.
Nice.
Now a proud seer of CFI
Nice.
and see what else we can we do for our clients.
Tell me this. I mean, obviously, given your very rich experience and obviously the fact that you have been so deeply embedded in the marketing system, marketers today, Santosh, have probably all the data available to them. They have all the tools available to them, but they still seem to be pulling in the opposite direction. What kind of, what I mean to say is that data is there, everything is there. The largest of companies, you cater to them, right? Now, they have all the wherewithal. They have access to probably everything, whether it's talent, whether it is everything, right? But why is it that they still seem to kind of wonder, or they're a little iffy about the fact that if their marketing is working, not working, things like that? Why do they need assistance? Because these are some of the biggest conglomerates on the face of this planet.
No, it's a good question, and I think it is changing. But I think what someone like a C5I brings to the table, or why these companies come to C5I, is not because they cannot understand. We will never understand the client's business better than they do.
For sure.
What we do understand better is what other 10 companies are doing as well. Because we are not just working for one company, we are working for 30, 40, 50, 100 companies. We can bring that learnings to this company. So it's not about, one manufacturing company learning from another manufacturing company.
Sorry, but just to give everyone context, I'd like to please apprise you all of the fact that these are some of the largest packaged consumer goods companies on the planet. And C5I caters to 4 out of the 15. Just thought everyone should have a context because of the sheer volume we are talking about. I can't take any names, but I guess everyone knows who I'm talking about.
I think it's a thought way that we can assimilate that learnings not only from that client's marketing data but other clients, and give that thoughtware of what is best in class doing currently. The trends in the industry. There's not one company is the leader on every single element. There are companies which are leader in one of those elements. Let's say there are 10 elements of marketing. Not one is leader. So we can bring those knowledge to every other client and assimilate that into their culture. So I think that's why, most of the companies try to come to companies like C5I or Analytic Edge. It's about what are others doing better. And it creates a trust factor. Since you are doing for X, we know that you can do for us as well.
Fair point.
So it's just a different dimension of thinking, strategically speaking. And I think if you become a tactical player or in the marketing analytics arena, there is no room for tactical playness. So, I will come do the work, I'll go out. Then you are a risk of losing out, or, teams doing it themselves.
Yes.
Or some other companies coming in. I think it's the strategic value that has to be added to become successful for the clients. Because I think that's the key point that we are trying to sell. We bring that strategic. It's not we, any marketing analytics player. We bring that strategic thoughtware. We can help you going from point A to point B. Whatever your goals of the client
might be. But interestingly, Santosh, I mean, this comes to my mind that, I mean, the sheer scale of it, I have to obviously tickle your mind on that. You're dealing with millions and millions and millions of dollars, right?
Yeah.
And this is from the point where this is real palpable money. What kind of a challenge does that bring to the overall mindset for somebody like a thought leader like yourself? Because you obviously, strategic edge is one thing, trust is a bigger one, according to me. And then the fact that you have to make sure that whatever the money which is riding on this entire methodology has to be well defined and understood. And the sheer scale of it, does it daunt you? Or did it start of kind of daunt you at the beginning?
No, I think been in this industry for quite a while now, so it doesn't daunt anymore. Initially it did.
Yeah, that's what.
So CFI last year, we did measurement for approximately $3.8 billion worth of money spent on advertisements.
That's just
3.8
pocket change.
3.8 billion. So it doesn't daunt anymore. But the fun is, not about $3.8 billion. The fun is, can I take with our insights, if we can go from, let's say, make a client go 2%, even 2%.
Nice.
That 2%, now if you put it in numbers, you're talking billions
Wow.
of dollars.
Wow.
Right? 2%. Can I move the needle by 2%? And I think
Well, that's a huge challenge, no?
absolutely. So I think that taunts me still, saying that, are we able to move the needle?
Give me an example. Give me something which still kind of brings a smile to your face in terms of what you managed as far as moving the needle was concerned.
A client came to us and said, all these methodologies are very nice. You're telling me something. I agree. I will hand over my marketing planning to you. Can you work with my agency? And the only thing is that we had to increase my profitability by 10%.
Okay.
End of the year, we achieved 12.
Wonderful. Congratulations.
It was the the excitement of an adrenaline rush that you'll never get when you know that you told client 10 and it's not 8, it's not close. You achieved that and a little more.
Nice.
So it was that moment, and we got an award from this client, and it's a humongously big beverage manufacturer, and we got an award, and no money associated, but the award was like, keep it very close to me in that we
Fascinating.
achieved it. All right. So
What
it
is
was
a
nice.
client? What do you have to say to, let's say, a client who comes to you and says, "All right, listen, you know what? Your marketing is fair, the model that you projected, etc. But I believe that the solution would be as far as the creative is concerned." What's your thought on that?
There are several factors which play into getting the ROIs that you are expecting from your marketing. There are some things that is under our control, measurement control, and there is something which is dependent upon the consumers, right? COVID,
Oh,
does it hamper the whole paradigm
oh, wow.
shift?
Yeah.
Measurement industry fundamentally is evolving.
But you're also dealing with a very fickle mindset, correct me if I'm wrong, when it comes to the consumers, no?
Absolutely. So
Very fickle.
if I turn your question into how has the measurement industry evolved, if that's where we want to go, previously, I'm talking about 10, 15 years back, everything is static.
Yes.
You will do measurement once a year, you will do a PowerPoint, you'll keep it in the side, and then you'll forget about it. I think the industry has been evolving at an extremely fast pace, and COVID just showed what a paradigm shift it can bring.
Oh, yeah.
Prior to COVID also, you have, when I started this marketing analytics journey way back in 2003, we had TV,
Right.
several campaigns of TV, and all digital combined into one bucket.
Yes. That's true.
Nobody was talking about meta, nobody was talking about prospecting versus retargeting, display ad versus video ads.
And
Nobody
it
was
really
talking.
exists as well, no?
It exists in very small
Very,
forms.
yeah, right.
So you're talking about TV, radio,
Print maybe to an extent.
print. Print was big, by the way,
Yeah.
and that's it. Thoughtware was easy.
Mm.
Now you can see the clutter that exists now in the space. You have TV,
Yeah.
which can be broken down by CTVs,
Right.
your Hotstars of the world. You can have, online TVs, cable TVs,
Correct.
network TVs, and then you have a slew. Google or YouTube can be split into 15 different types.
Has it made it tougher though?
it has become very tough. Both, so the methodology that was there and methodology that is here nowadays, very different. The thoughtware, the science, or the it is built on what is called as a Barst diffusion theory,
Sure.
which we nicely picked it up from the era of physics. The seminal papers written in 1968. Still, the same theory applies.
Fascinating.
But the complexity in solving that equation now is very. So the complexity has changed, but the thoughtware remains similar. The fragmentation of media industry becomes huge. TV at some time was 95%.
Yep.
Now it is trending to around 27, 28%. And I'm
Wow.
talking about in the world.
Wow.
TV just comprises 27, 28% of the total spends. Social is huge.
Yeah.
TikTok is growing like there is no tomorrow. Spends on TikTok. And I'm sure in 2 years there's something else.
Will
I'm
pop
sure
up, right?
everyone is talking about SEOs and SEMs 5-6 years back. Now everybody is talking about AEOs and GEOs. Generative engine optimization.
Sure.
So how do you have GEOs, same like SEOs, with search engine optimization? It's a LLM engine optimization.
Right.
So people are talking about GEOs. Something else will come up in a few years.
This brings me to this thought, Santosh, the fact that you said that the underlying theory still remains the same.
Absolutely.
Fair. But with the advent of so many different fragments which are there, do you feel that in a way, you being a pioneer as far as this the triple M methodology theory understanding is concerned, when you, let's say, were to explain it to a client, are the clients accepting the changes that you are suggesting, or are they still very sluggish when it comes to the old ways of thinking, and they're just rebranding it or relabeling it and actually positioning it in the same way?
Now, I think, yeah, over the last few years, I think the clients have been more accepting, and it's a change in the industry because previously, marketing was seen as a cost of doing business.
Yes.
If I had to stay alive, I would do marketing.
Fair.
I think it has now become a sustainable truth. And CFOs are saying, if I'm putting millions of dollars behind it, I need to see, what returns it is giving. So I think everybody is starting to get on the new bandwagon.
Logical.
Logical thinking, measurement thinking, numbers behind your thinking. I think it is changing. Is there some sluggishness? Yes. The fundamental thoughtware behind or how is not to make any solution a black box. I want to know what goes in.
I think that's a very valid point.
But most of the industry, MMM industry in the past, has been a black box. I don't know what goes in. I don't know what magic you do. And I've been in places where I've been told, what black magic have you done? I was expecting this. You're telling me that. Is there some black magic? I think to explain it to the clients or the industry, you just have to make it glass box. I'm not even saying open box.
I somewhere agree
Make
with
it
you. Yes.
glass box. Let them see what is happening inside.
Sure.
The trust comes with that.
Yes, which is most important.
So you say, I don't understand the mechanics. I don't understand the stats behind it. But at least I'm able to see something, what is happening.
Right.
Some engines are cranking. So,
Right.
it's like driving a car. It fascinates and saying, oh, how can this car drive?
Beautiful.
But now you say, oh, this is how the engines are there, the motors are there.
Right.
I don't know how to make an engine, but I can see it running. I can see the motors turning and saying, this is how the results coming. It gives the trust.
Which I feel is so important, no, Santosh, that the fact that one doesn't need to gatekeep. Because the moment you start doing that, I think somewhere you're plunging the entire aspect or the entire motivation into a very negative place.
Absolutely. And so it is about generating that trust.
Yes.
Absolutely. So
Yes.
as soon as the client trusts.
That's where the magic happens.
Absolutely. So, and now you say, Are you assuming something? Yes, there is a lot of assumptions being
Sure.
made. What is the basis
Yep.
of those assumptions
Yep.
is what is more important. Can you explain? I was having a presentation to a tech company, and we were doing marketing analytics for a tech company. And I was telling my team that it's not important to tell what you did or what is this is about.
Sure.
It's important what it is not about.
Very nice.
So I think it is important to tell that, going back to the examples of that chart that we were seeing, it's important to tell the chart. It's very evident what the chart is trying to tell. Question is what it is not telling.
Fair enough.
So I think that's important. I think it's a thoughtware change. I'm not saying it's about consulting. It's about educating.
In a structured manner.
In a structured manner, saying that, this is why it is.
Yep.
There is a business logic to it. There is a statistical methodology to it. Anybody asks, what is your IP? Is it the methodology? Is it what code you're using? What algorithm you're using?
Right.
Is that the IP? I said, no. That is, the algorithm is per se is not the IP. The IP is the thoughtware, that the design
That drives it.
that structured thought process that designs it. That is the IP.
Fair. Fair
Because
point.
that gives.
And that I believe has to be very flexible and nimble because you're dealing with so many different kinds of clients
Absolutely.
with from very different motivations, with very different products, with very different. So yes, I see where you're going with this.
Because the client always will not ask you a question that is, oh, yeah, can you do 2 plus 2?
Yes.
I know the answer.
I still struggle, but that's fine.
See, that's your PhD capacity. See, it teaches you 2 plus 2 very well. Jokes apart, but the fundamental was no question is asked. There is a question behind a question. Can
Sure.
you prod the question enough to understand what is the client thinking and what does he want? I think that's the skill. That's where the magic happens. The knowing that structure.
Perceiving it actually.
Absolutely. And methodology is the simplest part.
Yeah. Fair.
You know,
Which brings me to this. It's been a wonderful journey till now, and I'm only praying and sending everyone at Analytic Edge, at C5I, and your model is of course is Cube as well. All the positive energy. But Santosh, now that Analytic Edge got acquired, right? C5I is a new chapter as far as things are concerned. You as a co-founder, when you now sit back and reflect, what is it that comes to your mind in terms of what you're able to achieve now moving forward with this acquisition, which maybe dispassionately now when you think about it, you couldn't have done it as just Analytic Edge?
AI. I think the application of AIs. C5I is one of the strengths is applications of AI. How to use AI, not just as an automation. And again, there's nothing wrong with using AI for automations, but it is what it can really do. So I think we were focusing more on the business side of things, how to tell the story to a client in a better way. We were not thinking of creating efficiencies in the process and saying that, can that business thoughtware be accomplished by AI working in the back? I think humongously improvement in our thoughtware of what we can bring to our clients is the application of AI in the measurement space. It is not now. I think it's massively underutilized in the industry right now. In the measurement industry or marketing measurement industry, the AI is massively underutilized. I think in the next 2 years, you will see a lot of layers. And it goes back to your question saying that, now how do I build that trust?
Yes.
I can say, oh, the R square, the MSME of this model was this, the error was this, and saying, I don't know.
Yeah, I'll get lost in people. Yeah, I know what you
Exactly.
mean.
Now
Yeah.
you can actually ask. So we are creating a, a layer on top of our Q platform where you can ask a question.
Nice.
Does this make sense? Can you compare?
Right.
So it's a conversational layer, possible only because we are running AI in the back. So there is a semantic layer using AI, there is a conversational layer using AI, and now we are 3 months away from building a agentic layer on top of our MMMs as well. It is going to hugely improve where the industry is going to go.
So happy about that.
So wouldn't have happened
Without C5I.
without C5I, but without the Thoughtware coming in, without the, we had a closed Thoughtware. Now we have 10 people advising us and forcing us to think differentially.
This brings me to this, which, well, as we are summing up this conversation, I have to obviously ask you this. Not a 5-year vision, okay? Not like 10 years down the line, 12 months to 24 months, Santosh, okay? What are your thoughts? And here's the question that I want to ask you. What is the single biggest mistake organizations are making right now and that they will regret when the moment arrives? And how is it that you want to somewhere rectify it, perceive it, and not let that happen?
ROI.
Fair?
So again, when people talk about ROI, they are talking as of now about the short-term ROI, what the lift I got now. I think in next 12 to 24 months, the industry is going to shift to thinking about a long-term sustainable profitability rather than short-term gains. Not saying that short-term tactics should not be done. It still will be. But when you're thinking about ROI, you'll be thinking from a long-term ROI perspective, not just ROI today. It's about if you're doing any advertisement and you're spending money today, what is it giving you today and what it will give you in the future? It's an amalgamation of those thoughtwares that will be talked about.
And whatever you're trying to probably build, will that make you a market leader?
Absolutely. So we are talking in the industry about what is called as a full funnel approach. A full funnel approach is I'm not trying to measure just your sales, your media's impact or your marketing's impact on your sales. I am also trying to figure out your marketing's impact on awareness, your marketing's impact on penetration,
Fair.
marketing impacts on consideration. If you think of Amazon, what is Amazon's trying to do? All the ads that you see outside the Amazon realm is to bring consumers to Amazon.
Sure.
But what is trying, once you come to Amazon, how do I buy a laptop? A or B or a C laptop?
Sure.
That depends upon how you have created my journey in the past. And the price and the promotions you're running now, that changes. So it's a combination of not just your media element. It's a combination of your media element, your price element,
Sure.
your design element. We are extremely short decision-making time now. So people make decisions very quickly now, or purchase decisions.
True.
Previously, if you want to buy a refrigerator, it's a 6-month thoughtware thing.
Yes,
I
I
will
know.
do research. I will go to 10
Apart from
shops.
research, there will also be 15,000 other inputs from the family members.
Absolutely.
Then the neighbor would say, this is not, yeah, I know.
So now you go to a store.
That's why I don't own a fridge. It's true.
And here now you go to a store, you will see, and you are on your mobile at the same time, you're doing your research. So you are getting short. So I had to catch a consumer at various paths to
It's
make a decision.
fascinating, to be honest.
So I think the industry is going to move there. The full funnel approach, the path to purchase approach. I might be giving you an ad in YouTube. Now, does that make you buy more in Amazon or an e-commerce channel? or on a brick and mortar channel
Nice.
or a quick commerce channel.
Nice.
So now if we have to start thinking and bringing into your measurement all these touch points. I mean, how do you bring it in? How
So
do
you're
you
molding
guide it?
thought. You're molding emotion. You're
Absolutely.
molding perception.
Software development went through a humongous change in early 2000s, 2010-ish with the whole agile approach, dynamic Thoughtware approach. Measurement industry, marketing measurement industry is going through the same change right now.
And I'm so happy that you're at some level or the other championing the cause moving forward.
Absolutely. If you're not thinking, you'll be left behind.
Fair enough. Which is what brings me to now the rapid fire section, Santosh, because you said that if you're not thinking, you'll get left behind. Sure, you won't get left behind, but there will be judgments passed.
Absolutely.
So no pressure. Anyway, if you're all set,
Yep.
all right, this is really quick. So no thinking. The first thought that comes to your head, and I do believe that you're not using Cube. Okay, fine, good. We're good to go?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the first one. A CMO walks into your office and says their attribution model is perfect. Do you laugh? Do you cry? Or do you refer them to a therapist?
I laugh.
Okay, fair enough. Nice. Good bomb up. All right. The MMM or last click attribution. One survives, one gets deleted. You choose.
Both survives. MMM survives better than attribution.
Fair enough. Third one. You have 1 minute to explain AI in marketing to your grandmother. What do you actually say?
I will do it. It will do it faster, simpler, and you'll understand better.
Beta sunai nahi diya.
AI in MMM, if I have to, AI in MMM is not about improving the thoughtware. It is about scale. It's about fast. It's about understanding what is going in and coming out. That's what AI will bring. So it is not about, I'm not trying to teach my grandmother AI. I'm just trying, it'll be faster, simpler, makes your lives easier.
And you did it in less than a minute. Well done. The most dangerous phrase in a marketing meeting today. Go.
Short-term ROI.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
It is very dangerous. We've got to think about long-term. It is just not sustainable.
Okay. A brand tells you they do not need better measurement. They just need better creative or copy. Your honest response in one sentence.
You will never know whether a good creative will also lead to good ROIs.
Well done, Santosh. Humans versus AI in the final call. No qualifications. Who wins?
Human.
Fabulously done, Santosh.
Absolutely.
That's 10 out of 10.
See?
I think you pumped up your score because of your grandmother answer. No, but honestly, it's been truly wonderful having this conversation with you. My takeaway is the fact that, you know what, you said that you learned structured thinking. I think that is, of course, the bedrock and the foundation of this conversation. Having said that, I think it's also the flight of your imagination which brings a wonderful little sense of passion to everything that you do. And here from Simulated Reality, we are only wishing you and your entire team all the best and
so
hoping that the funnel that you're trying to create eventually makes you that champion that you so deserve to be.
Absolutely. Thanks much, for inviting and listening to my last 10 minutes or 30 minutes. I don't know, 30 minutes of talk, but
we were not keeping track of time.
Thank you so much.
Wonderful.